Hello, welcome to Pappa Paulies' first ever pizza dough recipe video. Never made one before. A friend of mine asked for my pizza dough recipe. Wasn't a great success apparently, and she's asked me to make a video just telling you how to make, or telling everyone how to make it. Pretty straightforward stuff. So ingredients first, so we've got bread flour, strong white bread flour. Then we've got some just normal table salt. You can use rock salt if you want to, but I just use table salt. And you've got extra virgin olive oil, fast active dry yeast, 320 milliliters of warmish water, warm to the touch, not too hot, not too cold. Depends on the day as well. If it's cold like it is today, it's around about sort of 7 degrees today. You want warmish water. If it's a hot day, you just want cold tap water. It's absolutely fine. What we've done is put the yeast into the water. Been in there for around about 5 minutes. Stirred it up. As you can see, it's kind of foaming on the top there, just to activate it, wake it up a little bit. Some people put sugar in it. I don't. Just don't need it at all. Yeah, so I'm going to wait for that to activate a little bit more. I'm going to weigh out the ingredients. So we need exactly 500 grams of the bread flour. We need 5 grams of salt, and then we need 5 milliliters. It does weigh the same as grams, so 5 milliliters of the extra virgin olive oil. And yeah, so we're just going to put all that in a bowl. And I'll come back to you and show you how to knead the dough and exactly how it all works and comes together. Okay, so weighed out the flour. So we've got 500 grams of flour, and then we've got the 5 grams of the salt that we put in there. Just going to show you basically how to make a well in flour. I know probably people know how to do it already, but you just literally move the flour to the side, dig down to the bottom, make sure you hit the bottom of the bowl. Then you take your water and the activated yeast, which you can see now is pretty much all dissolved into the water. You literally just pour it all in, all into the well. It's all in there. And first of all, I incorporate it together with a spoon. Just keep stirring it. A better light from this angle. Just mix it all together. This is quite hard to do with one hand, by the way. Trying to film it at the same time. Yeah, so just mix all that together, and I'll show you what we're going to do in a moment. So we're literally just going to mix this in the bowl until it's all incorporated, and then we're going to tip it out onto the surface, light floured surface, and work it all out on the floor, on the surface with the flour. Okay, so as you can see, that's all come together in the bowl. What you need to do now is, like I say, just flour. Get some flour out of there. Just flour the surface, lightly-ish. You want. You can incorporate as much flour or as little as you want to into the dough, just as long as it gets the right feel. So then we're going to tip this out onto the surface. There we go. You'll have pretty much a clean bowl, hopefully, with nothing left in there. If there's anything sticking in, just pick it out and put it with that ball of dough there as well. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start pushing this together on the surface, pushing it down, flattening it out, and bringing it back in on itself. So just keep kneading it out. Again, not the easiest thing to do with one hand, but that's all you need to do. So just keep folding it on top of each other for about 2 or 3 minutes, and then we're going to knead it properly for about 10 minutes. Okay, so found a way to put the camera above the dough. So basically I've just needed to add a little bit more flour to my dough because it's a little bit wet. So this will give a better view of what you're doing with the dough. So like I say, it's been folded for about 2 or 3 minutes. What you want to do is pull the dough out, fold it back on each other, turn it, pull it out, push it down, pull it out, push it down. You do actually need to do this for about 10 minutes until the dough is smooth-ish. If it's too wet, too sticky, you can add a little bit more flour onto it. Easy way to clean your hands as well. If you've got sticky dough on your hands, literally just grab a pinch of flour, rub it between your hands. It cleans all the dough off there for you. So if you need to answer the phone or answer the door or anything like that, you got clean hands. Okay. So we're just going to do this, like I say, for 10 minutes. You probably don't want to watch me do this for 10 minutes. But I will show you exactly what happens. We're activating the gluten in the flour as well, the more we need it. So pushing out, push down. You can see it's feeling sticky-ish right now, but it's not sticking to my fingers. As you can see, they're clean, which is good. So just going to keep going and going for a good 10 minutes. And I'll show you what to do when we put it into the dough balls. Okay, alright, so been kneading the dough for, like I say, 10 minutes. As you can see, it's come together. It's not sticky at all to the hand. It's very smooth, you feel it. If you want to push it, let go, you should see the hole there that you poked. It should spring back. Well, it's not going to spring back completely, but it will come back to what you've pushed. So you can see it coming back up. Okay, cool. So you can make 4 smallish pizzas out of this, I'd call them. I tend to make 2 massive ones because they look better and you can fit more stuff on top of them. What you need to do on the scales, if you can see these scales. No, the light's not very good. It normally weighs around about 800-ish grams. So let's have a look there. Right, so as you can see, that weighs 845. So basically you just want to split it in half. So you want 222.5. Doesn't have to be exact, but if you get it as close as possible, you get 2 even sizes. So let's chop it in half, ball it up like that. Okay, so that was pretty good. What have we got there? Nope, because I picked it up, it doesn't weigh right. Let's move it down. There we go. So it's 420, so that one's going to be 425. So that's fine, no problem at all. So what you want to do now is take each of the doughs. I'll show you how to form them into proper dough balls first of all. So cut them in half. The piece that you've cut in half, you can kind of flatten out a little bit if you want to. Get a little bit of flour on your hands, just a tiny bit, like that much. Rub on your fingers. Take the dough, and what you want to do is pull it back into itself, like this. I'm sorry if the light's not very good, but if we just keep doing that for a little bit, I'm going to go round and round about 4 or 5 times. So I've done that. Pinch it a little bit, push in. If you turn it over, kind of got a smooth surface. It will be a little bit sticky, but don't worry about it. It's not sticking to your fingers. Comes away clean. Say you push it. Sorry, too close. Push the hole, comes back out. There we go. So the same with the other one. Show you again. A little bit of flour on your fingers. There we go. Pull it out. So just pulling it out like that. You're just folding it back onto itself. Okay. go. Same on there. So now what we've got is 2 equalish looking balls. Tiny bit of flour sprinkled on top. And what I do now is get your fingers underneath it and you can kind of pinch it up and turn it at the same time, so you're going up like that. It just smoothens it out a little bit. Some people do this with a hand and then do that, and you're basically just shaping it into a ball. You can do that if you want in your hands. Doesn't make any difference. So on this side, as you notice, that's the side that we've been pinching dough back onto itself, and that's where all your folds will be. That's normally the bottom of the pizza. So I'll take that there. That's that one done. You're just smoothing it out, basically, is what you're doing there. So you got that side, smooth side. There we go. That's the side with the creases on. There we go. Okay. Now what you need to do with these is transfer them to a board. I'm going to get it. Floured board. Just a large chopping board. Got that there. Flour. Just dust it with flour. Don't have to be loads. Just, I don't know, what do you call that? About a gram. Maybe a bit less. Put that on there. This one on there. What I tend to do with these now is just give them a push down. The reason I do that is for me, it makes it easier when you're rolling the dough out turning the dough out with your hands. Sometimes if they're too big, they'll puff up, and then you'll have to push them down. You push all the air out of it. So it's better to do it like that, because when they rise outwards, basically. So that's it. Now I cover mine with a damp tea towel, which I'll just do now. Warm or cold water doesn't make a difference on the tea towel, just as long as it's damp. You don't want it soaking wet, but just damp enough to, well, be damp. And then what you do is basically lay that on top. This is the hardest part. You have to wait for these to rise. I say minimum of an hour. You can go 2 hours, 3 hours sometimes as well. Again, depends on the day. You'll notice them rise. If I move the camera now. They're not exactly flat, but they're not huge risen dough balls at the moment. So I'm going to leave these for about an hour and then come back and show you the size. And then I probably leave these today probably about an hour and a half and come back and see exactly how much they've risen.